Attention passionate Atlanta Falcons fans. Latest news. Something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run. A power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends in Atlanta Falcons fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Today we're diving into some hot off-the-press NFL news that could have huge implications for the Falcons' future. We've got a story that's not just about a player swap or a free agent signing, but about a strategic move that could reshape the team's trajectory in ways we've been waiting years to see. And trust me, this isn't just any rumor. This is a potential game changer, especially considering how the Falcons are positioning themselves for the upcoming seasons. So, what exactly is happening? Well, it's all about the Atlanta Falcons making a bold move for a talented tight end from the Cleveland Browns. And, no, it's not just about filling a roster spot. It's about addressing a critical need at a position that's been a bit of a question mark for a while now. The tight end position. The player in question is none other than David Njoku. Now, this might seem like just another trade rumor, but when you peel back the layers, it becomes clear that this could be a strategic masterstroke for the Falcons, especially as they look to elevate their offense and push for deeper playoff runs. Let's take a step back and analyze the current situation. The Falcons, for all their ups and downs, have been building a pretty solid foundation. They've got a promising young quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., who showed flashes of brilliance last season and appears to be developing into the franchise guy. With Penix under center, the Falcons are starting to shape a potent passing attack that can challenge defenses across the league. They already have some key pieces. Bijan Robinson, who's been electrifying since day one, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and others, forming a solid offensive core. But the tight end position? That's been a bit of a puzzle. Kyle Pitts, once hailed as a generational talent after being drafted 4th overall, hasn't quite lived up to expectations. And many fans are starting to wonder if his best days are ahead or if it's time for a change. And that's where David Njoku comes into the picture. You see, Njoku is a player who has shown flashes of brilliance in Cleveland. He's a versatile tight end with great athleticism and a knack for making big plays, especially in the red zone. But the Browns, right now, are in a bit of a turbulent phase. Their organization is facing some struggles, and it looks like a rebuild might be on the horizon. The Browns just recently invested a 3rd-round pick in Harold Fannin Jr., a young talent with a lot of potential, which signals that they're looking towards the future and possibly ready to move on from some of their veteran assets, including Njoku. Now, why would the Falcons be interested in acquiring Njoku? Well, for starters, he fits perfectly into the team's plans. He's only 28 years old, right in the prime of his career, and he's someone who can immediately step in and be a reliable target for Penix. Unlike Pitts, who's struggled with consistency and injuries, Njoku brings a proven track record of production and athletic ability that can help the Falcons contend right now. And let's not forget, Njoku's skill set makes him a matchup nightmare for defenses. He's a mismatch in the red zone, a reliable target on 3rd downs, and a player who can stretch the field with his athleticism. But here's the interesting part. Njoku is set to be a free agent in 2026. That means, if the Falcons make this move now, they could secure a top-tier tight end for the next couple of seasons without long-term commitments. for Cleveland, trading Joku now makes sense too. They're in a rebuilding phase. And with the recent draft investment in Harold Fannin Jr., it's clear they're looking towards the future. Fannin, a 20-year-old rookie, has been touted as a potential superstar in the making. A true matchup nightmare with excellent route running, yak ability, and underrated blocking skills. The Browns are probably thinking long-term, and moving Joku now while his value is high could be a smart play. Let's get into some specifics here. The Browns' recent draft capital commitment to Fannin signals that they're investing heavily in their future. And Joku, at 28, might not fit into that long-term vision. Teams often trade players when they're still in their prime, especially if they have a promising young talent ready to step into their shoes. And in this case, Fannin could be that guy. So, from the Browns' perspective, moving Joku now could actually be beneficial. They get a good return and open the door for their new prospects. For the Falcons, acquiring Joku isn't just about plugging a hole. It's about elevating their offensive dynamics. With Penix Jr. developing nicely, the team needs reliable targets who can make big plays and keep drives alive. Joku's skill set complements the offensive scheme and provides a different dimension compared to Pitts, who, let's be honest, has struggled to stay healthy and consistent. By adding Joku, Atlanta can diversify their passing game, making it even harder for defenses to contain them. Think about the possibilities. Joku, with his red zone prowess, could become Penix's go-to guy in clutch situations, freeing up London and Mooney to operate in the intermediate and deep zones. And it's not just about immediate impact. This move could set the Falcons up for sustained success in the NFC South. The division has been a bit unpredictable lately, with teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New Orleans Saints trying to find their footing. But if Atlanta makes smart moves like adding Joku, they could establish a new division dominance. Remember, the NFC South has historically been a tough division, but with the right pieces, the Falcons could emerge as the team to beat in the coming years. This trade could be one of those strategic steps that push them over the edge. Now, let's talk a little about the bigger picture. The NFL landscape is all about building for the future while competing at the same time. The Falcons are in that sweet spot right now. They're not rebuilding from scratch, but they're also not just a playoff team content with the status quo. They're pushing to be serious contenders. Acquiring a player like Joku, who can immediately contribute and also has room to grow, aligns perfectly with this philosophy. Plus, with the coaching staff's focus on maximizing their offensive weapons and Penix's potential to develop into a top-tier quarterback, this move makes a lot of sense. Of course, no trade is without risks. The Falcons would have to negotiate with Cleveland and agree on a fair deal. And there's always the chance that Joku's style might require some adjustments within Atlanta's offensive scheme. But considering his age, talent, and fit, it seems like a win-win situation for both sides if it materializes. For the Browns, it's about repositioning and building for the future. And for the Falcons, it's about adding a proven playmaker who can help them reach the promised land sooner rather than later. As we look ahead, the Falcons' front office and coaching staff will need to evaluate this option carefully. Would Joku be the final piece that pushes them into serious playoff contention? Could he be that dependable weapon that takes pressure off London and Mooney? And most importantly, how will this impact the team's chemistry and offensive rhythm? These are questions that only time will answer. But the signs point to a very promising scenario if they manage to pull off this trade. So, Falcons fans, what do you think about this potential move? Are you excited about the idea of Joku donning the black, red, and white? Do you believe this could be the spark that ignites Atlanta's offense and helps them chase that Elusive Super Bowl? I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions matter so much to us and to the future of the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with even more updates and analysis. So stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, because your support helps keep this channel growing. Let's keep the passion alive. And as always, rise up, Falcons fans.